Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for being with us today. Sure do appreciate it. You can find us again on television. You can also find us on the newscasters.com. That's a new podcast for us, and we appreciate the opportunity that we have with that as well. If you would like to send an email, any suggestions, something you'd like for me to do a little research on, I'm glad to do that for you. You can send an email to Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. We're going to talk about gardening. In fact, we're going to talk about fall gardening. What do you need to do to prepare for the fall? So let's go ahead and get started on that. I have a website that I actually got this from. It's Better Homes and Gardens. It's abbreviated bhg.com. bhg.com. You can find this article and many, many more. But let's go ahead and get started. It's beginning to cool down just a little bit, even here in the South. So we're proud for autumn coming around. The beautiful colors that are going to be just magnificent all over the place. And it's time to finish the gardening season for preparing all of our plants for winter. There's some you're going to have to start bringing in pretty soon. But I'm going to give you a really good idea as to when. This is, again, a good website right here. Essential fall outdoors chores that we can all do just to be ready for fall. Sometimes a few things you can do ahead of time is going to save you headaches just a little bit later. So let's dig right in. So we're going to use these. And sometimes it's just, you can do everything in one day. It might take a couple of days in order to do that, but we're going to go ahead and get that started. So let's talk about getting the lawn ready for winter. Oh man, look at that beautiful stuff right there. I'll tell you what I think that Phil always does every year, and when we start getting the leaves all over the ground, he goes on ahead and he mulches those up, and he puts those in our bin that we use for gardening and for just all around preparation for the winter time. But as the season cools down just a bit, autumn lawn care is a combination of cleanup, and you're also encouraging new growth. So now it's time to help your grass recover from the hot weather that we've had here in the South, and from being trampled during backyard games of catch or maybe even bounce ball this summer. People walking in and out of your yard. If you have deer, that too. So let's pave the way for lush, healthy grass next spring with these fall gardening tips. Deal with the fallen leaves. So turf grass won't tolerate thick layers of leaves well, so it's best to rake off all that you can. If you don't have a lot of leaves, just skip the raking and mow over them. That way you're chopping those into smaller pieces. That's going to add a lot of nutrients to the soil. We have a lot of leaves, but it really helps us using all of this extra ground cover for the garden. Now, you can also seed or lay sod, so cool temperatures, it's got to be cool, combined with late fall rain make an ideal condition for establishing new lawns or repairs in most regions. If you have a few little bald spots in the ground, maybe you've had some little critters out there in your yard, rabbits or whatever, this is a good time to go ahead and those little bald spots in the ground, put a few seeds out there and see what happens. Okay, plan to aerate high traffic areas annually to loosen compacted soil. Otherwise, about every 2 years we'll do that as well. Keep up with the weeds. Now, most common lawn weeds will start proliferating as the temperatures cool off in the fall. Another thing you want to do is raise the mower blades. You're keeping the lawn taller will encourage more root growth. I didn't know that, so that's a good thing to know, which helps your grass survive the winter better. So the last time you know you're going to be cutting that grass, go ahead and raise that blade, and that's going to help you out as well. And it makes sense that this would help with the root growth. And it might be a good idea, again, if you have the leaves in your yard, go ahead and just run the mower over those as well and chop them up into fine little pieces, and it'll be a great conditioner for the yard. Okay, let's see. Prep the perennial growth. Now look at those perennials out there. Make sure we do that, because perennials are garden workhorses. After long growing seasons, they're ready for the winter rest. Let's let them rest just a little bit. Stop deadheading those in early fall and leave the above ground parts standing even after frost kills them. Now, you'll think they're dead, but they won't be. And so, unless pests are an issue, think about rabbits and stuff like that. And diseases could be an issue. They'll provide both food and shelter for wildlife. Now, songbirds will enjoy the seed buffet, and many pollinators, like native bees, overwinter in standing stems and brush. So they'll all have something to eat. Okay, so complete the following task in your perennial garden. Okay, this means the stuff that's coming back up. Now, an annual means that's something, some flowers that you have to plant every single year. And I'll tell you something else I'm doing also, because I had some seeds that I bought, and there were different kinds of sunflower seeds, and they were absolutely gorgeous. So what I have done, I've left all those seed heads standing. I did not take them away. They're standing. And then what I'm going to do, right before we get a frost, I'm going to take those seed heads off and I'm going to put them in the greenhouse and let those things just do their thing. I had some beautiful, they were kind of a Russian sunflower, I think was the name of them. They were great big, huge, beautiful sunflowers this summer. They were just about like that. Absolutely gorgeous. So seed heads are just full of seeds. And so I'm saving those, and then I'm going to have the sunflower garden this coming spring. And then I'm also going to have several different seed gardens with flowers. Lavender is going to be another one. My two favorite flowers, actually three. I love tiger lilies. And then the sunflowers are going to be awesome. They're good for pollinators, for our bees, or our beekeeping. And then also, not only that, but then good sunflowers and lavender. Lavender, I'm planning on using that. I've made some lavender tea, and I went on ahead and canned it. And so also marigolds, I made some marigold tea, some of those things that we're going to be able to have during those long winter months. It's going to make it feel just a little bit more like the summertime outside. And don't forget the tomatoes. Make sure if you have an overflow of tomatoes, or you can have access to some tomatoes, go on ahead and dry those in a dehydrator or put them out in the sun and do it as well. And I'm going to tell you what, you got to do that. I have several quart jars of those that I've done. In fact, I'm working on some right now. So when I'm driving Phil crazy, I'm going to be able to have some sunflowers, and I'm going to be able to also have tomatoes. Okay, now here are some tasks that you need to follow up on in your perennial garden in the fall. Remove weeds. This is the best time to do it. So clear away as many as possible now so you have fewer to deal with next spring. You'll need to add mulch. Now, after the ground freezes, wait till after, add 4 to 5 inch thick layer of bark mulch over the crown of perennials planted in this growing year, and those that are frost tender in your area as well. We learned a lesson last year with the frost, and it came late. We didn't. Oh man, it's a good thing I had an overabundance of fruit on my fruit trees last year. So we're still eating some apples. I had dried some. I'm so glad I did that now. It was a long process, but it's helped. Some peach preserves. I thought I'd made too much. Man, I'm glad I did it now. And then also have some pear preserve. So we'll still have some fruit to eat on. And also some strawberries and blackberries. Got those in the freezer as well. Now this is something a little bit late to talk about it right now, but think about next year. When you have blackberries, or you have strawberries, or you have blueberries, clean them really well. Make sure they're dry. Put them on a towel and let them just kind of towel dry. You want to also not dampen them, but you also want to go ahead and put the towel on top of them. Get all the moisture off that you possibly can. Put them in a big old cookie sheet. Put them now single layer, okay? Don't have them bunching on each other. They got to be separated. They don't get along with each other unless you separate them. And then put them in the freezer for a few hours, and they'll be frozen individually. And so this is what I do every morning. So we have fresh fruit almost. We have fruit all winter long because we do this. So you'll put those in bags. That way, the night before breakfast, what you can do is take out some of those berries, put those in a bowl, and they'll be thawing out, and they'll be awesome. They'll be really good with your oatmeal or your toast or whatever you eat. We don't need that much jam anymore because I have all of this fruit that we have in the freezer. So, I mean, that's just a good thing to think about next year, okay? All right, so we talked about removing weeds, adding mulch. That's something you got to do. And use just old grass cuttings, old grass clippings will do with that. Plant spring blooming bulbs. Now's the time, and I've got some tulips, and I can't wait to get those planted. So now's the time to plant the tulips. You have daffodils, many other spring blooming bulbs are best planted in late September or in October. So I got to dig me up a place for those tulips. We'll go tiptoeing through the tulips, won't we? And they're just beautiful. I have some red ones and some yellow ones, and then I have a variety pack of just different colors. Dispose of diseased or pest-ridden plants. You want to get rid of those. Remove any leaves, stems, and whole plants with diseases or bugs to reduce problems the following year. Another thing you want to do is water once a week if it's dry. We've had a dry season here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of rain in the forecast the next few days. Even though perennials are going dormant in fall, their roots are still active, growing under the ground until the ground freezes. So well-hydrated plants withstand winter stresses a whole lot better. A lot of folks don't wet them. They think, well, they're done anyway until next season. No, they're still alive. Those roots are still alive. So that's why sometimes in the spring, you notice your flowers aren't doing as well as they did the year before. It's because you didn't water them in the fall time of the year. Okay, now let's see. Let's go ahead and let's do this last. Let's do another one. And so let's talk about refreshing your winter garden for next year. Now, this is whether you have an elaborate kitchen garden or a small patch for raising the edible plants. Things will start to slow down in the fall as you harvest the last of your taste bounty. Now, once a few frosts finally bring the growing season to an end, check off these vegetable garden chores to prepare for the next season's harvest. So what you want to do is clean out those beds, removing all plant debris. That helps to prevent pests and diseases from overwintering in your garden and returning even worse in spring. I think that's how those Japanese beetles got started in our garden as well. What you want to do also is put away stakes, labels, and other accessories. As you remove plants, don't forget to gather items such as your labels, your stakes, and your cages. You need to store them where they'll be handy to reuse next year. Also add compost. So you'll spread a 2 to 3 inch layer of compost over your beds to enrich that soil. If you've been saving your grass cuttings all summer long, which is what we've been doing, I never buy any of that stuff anymore. The yard is free. I mean, every time Phil cuts the grass, he collects it in a bag. And then I have these different little areas in the yard that I use for compost. So no need to till it to end. So precipitation and soil organisms will do the job for you. I have some big, huge banana trees. And at first I hated them. I planted them, I liked them at first, but they just kind of grow and they're overwhelming. But I'll have to tell you, I'm really glad I did it now, because these big banana leaves are the perfect compost. So if you're putting down, you need to do everything in layers, okay? They call it lasagna planting. Deja Lee LeBray told me about that. So what you'll do is you'll put cardboard down. You'll water the yard. You don't even have to dig up grass. This is so cool. So all you have to do is just wet the ground really good. You'll want to put cardboard or paper, newspapers, if any of you ever get newspapers anymore, and put those down on the ground. Then that's called the brown. You want brown and green. So what you'll do next is put maybe your old banana leaves, something you're trimming up just a little bit, or maybe grass cuttings while they're green, okay? Because while they're green, they count as the green part. And then you'll want to put something else over it. Let all this set through the winter. I promise you, you'll never imagine how good your ground could actually be. The dirt under all of that stuff is going to be rich. It's going to be dark color. It's going to be perfect for your gardening. Let's go ahead and cut into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we're back from commercial break. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. If you can't find us on Facebook, you can also find us on YouTube and all the social media sites. And you'll also be able to find us at Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and the newscasters. I'm going to be a newscaster on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us there. So again, thank you so much for watching. We're talking about gardening. Let's get that garden ready. Okay, the more you prep and the more you do right now, especially when it's a lot cooler outside, the better garden you're going to have next year and the least work you're going to have to do when it's really super hot outside. So let's talk about that a little bit more. We talked about refreshing the garden for next year, and I'm still not through with that part right there. See those raised gardens? And look at those walking stones. Oh, and let me tell you something. Now is the time to start, if you wanted to make your own walking stones, Yeah, I got some concrete and I'm going to do that. So I found some, I went to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, and for $10, I found some china exactly like my grandmother's china that I'm using right now. So what I'm going to do is get that china and I'm going to break it up in pieces, and I'm going to put it in a round, kind of like a big cake plate kind of thing. And I'm going to put concrete around it. And those are going to be my stepping stones going all around through the garden. So when it rains a lot outside this coming summer, I'll be able to step on those stepping stones, and that's going to be kind of cool. And I'll do a video and show you how I'm going to do that as well. Get a little bit of time now that's not so much harvest is going on. Okay, so we're talking about cleaning out the beds, putting away the stakes, the labels, and other accessories, and also adding your compost. And again, you got to do that, okay? You can plant a cover crop if you want to do that. And it's a good thing to do, like mustard, peas, or maybe even clover in the fall, and that helps to prevent erosion. Then you turn them over into the soil in the spring to add nutrients. Isn't that a great thing to do? And then also expand your planting areas. If you're thinking about, well, I think I want a bigger garden this coming year than I had last year, now's the time to do it. So if you'd like to increase your planting space, fall is a great time to set up some new raised beds. Start that lasagna garden I was telling you about in just a few minutes, where you can smother out that grass. In other words, you're not going to have to till a thing. I like my tiller. I love it, but I don't use it on everything, because you're not doing your garden a service if you till everything up. You've got to have that layer of growth. You've got to have that layer of new ground on there. Okay, so that helps make a successful, very successful garden right there. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at all those nutrients. My garden looked exactly like that last spring. And all it was newspaper, grass cuttings. I just made a lasagna garden out of it. And look at there what happened. I had all that rich, beautiful, beautiful soil. And I put that into the concrete blocks for the concrete garden. And yes, I shall continue doing that. Best garden I ever had. I am still getting tomatoes. And I've also noticed some cucumber blooms on this. So let me tell you real quick, in case you haven't, you're new to the show and you don't know what I'm talking about. So Phil set up a concrete garden for me. And I used the bigger blocks, okay? You need the bigger ones, are going to be better. And there are 2 holes in each one. So what he did is he put a double layer of blocks. So what I did last year, and it worked, I kind of made my own compost in the bottom part of the bottom blocks. So I just tore up newspaper, and I just got old newspaper and old cardboard, and I let it out, let it rain on it. By the way, if you'll put the cardboard out, it looks kind of bad out in the backyard, but it's going to really, really help you get this done faster. Let it rain on it. Okay, don't let it dry now. After the rain, and it's soaked really good, you can tear those cardboard pieces up, and it's not going to wear your hands out like cutting with a pair of scissors or a knife or anything like that. So you'll be able to rip that cardboard, put it down in the concrete block or in your garden, whatever you want to do, and just layer it out there. And you need to find some green stuff now. So as you're pruning, as you're doing different things, you're getting rid of weeds. Yes, even weeds. They're not going to grow back in that garden, I promise you. Listen to me on this. This is awesome. So what you'll do is all those green, the things that you're throwing away, maybe parts of the garden that you want to throw away, go ahead and dump all that stuff, okay? And then just continue layering it and keep on doing that. And I promise you, you're going to have the best garden ever. So, I mean, it worked out for us. Did really good. Our soil, we had soil test done, because I could have already told you that. But every time it rains out here, it's like quicksand. It's sand, very, very sandy and rocky. It's hard to grow things out here. So that's all you have to do. I mean, just go out there and do your thing. And if you'll do it now, again, in the spring, when you start taking all those things off and you get ready to start putting stuff into the garden, you're going to think, man, I didn't know my ground could look like this. So this, again, raised gardens or concrete garden blocks, that's going to be the best way to do it. Okay, it's also time for you to care for your trees and your shrubs. Fall's an excellent time to plant trees and shrubs. I've got some ideas for some fruit trees I want to get planted outside too. I'd like to have a cherry tree. I don't know how it's going to do here, but anyway, I'd like to have a cherry. This is when you want to start that new hedge If you decide you want to do a hedge, don't ever do anything like that in the summertime. It'll kill it. Okay, so it's just too hot. It's rough on the roots. Fall of the year is the time. Now, let me tell you, this first time I ever planted a tree. Okay, I thought, well, the winter got it. It's dead. It just looked so bare. I mean, it was like there were no leaves on it, no growth. It just looked horrid. And then we pruned it, and man, the growth just started going crazy. I mean, it was just like everywhere. And so it'll look like it's dead now, but it'll be okay. Okay, now you need to do this also. Don't wait till winter to plant either. Okay, because it's just too cold outside. So this time of the year is the perfect time because there's still a little bit of warmth into that ground, and it's going to welcome a new tree. Also, while the soil is still warm, it's warm enough for roots to grow just a little bit before the winter season. So in addition, a little fall care for your established trees and shrubs will help them weather those cold months ahead. Okay, planting the new trees and shrubs, add deciduous trees and shrubs until about a month before the ground usually freezes. Here, it's hard to know. I mean, it's this in the south, and last year I'm gonna tell you what, we were shot with that last thing that happened. That last let me find my place. It went somewhere with the last freeze that happened. Now, another thing, again, I'm going to mention this again, you still want to provide plenty of water, okay? So newly planted trees and shrubs and established ones will tolerate harsh winter conditions better when well watered in the fall. Likewise, extra water for evergreens is essential in the fall. Replenish your mulch. Prune after dormancy starts. Trimming after August will trigger new growth that's easily damaged in winter. Instead, wait to prune until leaves have fallen, okay? But let me tell you something I learned. The very end of winter, I'm talking about right around the end of January and into maybe about half of maybe February is the time you want to prune. That is the absolute best time, because I used to prune in the fall of the year and my trees were just horrible looking. And so now Phil does all the pruning right about the last part of January, first part of February. And I promise you it's going to be the absolute best gardening you'll ever have. You want to also guard your trunks the tree trunks against deer and sun damage. So younger trees and shrubs can be ruined by a deer rubbing its antlers on the trunks. Plus, their thinner bark can be damaged by sun scald. So using a tree wrap or guard in fall can help prevent both of those issues. And also, this is a good time to also go ahead and get started. Oh, look at that, those beautiful, beautiful leaves are right there. This is what I wanted to show you right here. Now's a good time to also organize your summer stuff right there. Look at all those. Doesn't that look well organized? So that's what I'm going to do in the greenhouse. I've already got something in there. There's a little, and it's plastic. So I've got this, it's kind of like this plastic trunk, if that makes any sense. So that's where I like to keep all of my stuff. Nothing gets wet. You got to also make sure now that you clean all of your tools for the garden. That'd be your hoe, your rake, and all those things. Just in case something, got on some kind of disease got on it, you'll be able to take care of that. That's the end. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IEC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and find us on Abundance Television, syndicated there, all over the place. You can find us on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and don't forget the newscasters.com, thenewscasters.com. I'll be a newscaster on that podcast coming up the first part of November, but go ahead and get familiar with it right now. You can also find it on Facebook, The Newscasters. Again, thank you so much for watching.